So hello, we were doing complete course for EPFO 2025 and we were doing accounting principles. We have already completed 13 chapters. This is the index. All of these chapters are being completed. If you want, you can go have a look. PDF is available on the Telegram, edu ASTRA, this PDF as well as the other PDFs related to this exam as well as the other exams. At the same time, current affairs, important exam notification and a lot of other things. And if you want something extra, then do let me know. I'll provide you with the right resource. Then accounting standards. This is one of those chapters जिससे you will find a lot of questions. हमने थोड़ा सा briefly पहले देखे हैं कुछ. तो AS1 जैसे पहले आया हुआ है, AS9 पहले आया हुआ है, ठीक है. So all of these questions are very important. AS1, AS9. So in this we will take accounting standards थोड़ा डिटेल में. So accounting standards होते क्या हैं? Ensure uniformity, comparability and transparency in financial statement. So in EPFO you will find a lot of questions from this. So in this you will see one is AS and another one is IND AS. So about these, AS are accounting standards, are older Indian accounting standards formulated by Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, ICAI. ठीक है, Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. क्यों है? सब जैसे कि सेम पेज पे हैं, जो हम चीज़ें कर रहे हैं वो एक सिस्टमैटिक वे में हों, ठीक है, टू हार्मोनाइज अकाउंटिंग प्रैक्टिसेस. while IND AS are the newer IFRS converged standards that are largely based on IFRS, that is International Financial Reporting Standards, and are now mandatory for certain companies in India. The convergence to India accounting standards was driven by the need to align Indian financial reporting with global standards to improve transparency, comparability for international investors. ठीक है, तो be clear about AS and India AS. क्वेश्चन कैन कम इनके भी डिफरेंस में बहुत बेसिक क्वेश्चंस आते हैं. सो इवन इफ़ यू नो लिटिल बिट यू विल बी एबल टू आंसर. सो अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड्स, रूल्स इशूड बाय अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड्स बोर्ड ऑफ ICAI. Now 29 accounting standards in force apply to enterprises preparing financial statement under India GAAP. Now Indian accounting standards, IFRS converged standards notified by Ministry of Corporate Affairs. For certain companies listed large net worth, they follow IFRS principles with India-specific carve-outs. So key accounting standard. Now this important topic. AS1 is accounting standard 1, disclosure of accounting policies. So this question was there, ki what is AS1? And options were also very direct. One of the options were disclosure of accounting policies. So we have discussed this in previous chapter as well. Go and watch those chapters. And 2 videos are there about strategy and how many questions are there from each subject, what is the weightage of each subject. So that is very important. Go and have a look. If you are unable to find the video, tell me, I'll provide you with the link. So entity must disclose significant accounting policies adopted, basis of measurement, method used. Then AS2, accounting standard 2, valuation of inventories. So rule inventories measured at lower of cost and net realizable value. Cost includes all cost of purchases, conversion and other costs to bring inventory to present location या condition. LIFO, normally not permitted under accounting standard 2, FIFO or weighted average preferred, that is first in first out. AS3, cash flow statements. Rule, cash flow statement shows historical changes in cash and cash equivalents classified into operating, investing and financial activities. Direct or indirect method allowed for operating activities, mandatory for certain companies. Accounting standard 4, contingencies and events after the balance sheet date. Rule distinguishes adjusting versus non-adjusting events. Disclose material non-adjusting events. Contingencies disclosed in notes, not recognized unless probable and measurable. So contingencies and event after the balance sheet date. सो हमें ये जो ऊपर वाला बोर्ड में लाइन है ये याद रखनी है सब में, थोड़ा सा रफ आइडिया. AS5, net profit, prior period items, changes in accounting policies. Rule, prior period items shown separately, changes in accounting policy disclosed and effect, adjusted net profit after such adjustment shown. AS6 very important, इस पे हमने पूरा एक चैप्टर किया depreciation पे, उसमें भी we have seen accounting standard 6. So this is about depreciation accounting, systematic allocation of depreciable amount over useful life, कितने टाइम कोई चीज़ चलेगी. Then disclose method, rates, useful life changes. Accounting standard 7, construction contracts, relevant for contract accounting. Percentage of completion versus completed contract method, cost, revenue and recognition, and forcible loss treatment. Then AS 9, revenue recognition. Revenue recognized when it is probable economic benefits will flow and can be reliably measured. Specific rules for sale of goods, services, interest, royalties, dividends. AS 10, property, plant and equipment. Accounting for cost, subsequent expenditure, derecognition, disclosure of gross carrying amounts, depreciation, reconciliation. AS 11, the effects of changes in foreign exchange rate. Translation of foreign currency, transaction, recognition of exchange differences, monetary items, retranslated at closing rate. Then AS 12, accounting for government grants. So rule, government grants recognized when there is reasonable assurance that conditions will be complied with and grant will be received, presented as deferred income or deducted from asset carrying amount. AS 13, accounting for investment. Classification of investment, current versus long-term, valuation, cost, fair value and disclosure requirements. AS 14, accounting for amalgamations. Rule, accounting treatment for purchase versus pooling of interest, goodwill calculation, reserve adjustment. Then accounting standard 22, accounting for taxes on income. Rule, tax expense is equal to current tax plus deferred tax. Recognize deferred tax for timing differences and disclose. AS 26, intangible asset recognition, amortization and disclosure for intangibles, software, patents. Then AS 29 is provision, contingent liabilities and contingent asset. Provision recognized when present obligation is probable and amount can be reliably estimated. Contingent liabilities disclosed, not recognized. Contingent assets not recognized but disclosed when inflow probable. And जो AS 29 है aligns with IFRS India AS 37 conceptually. So few are very important, AS 29, AS 1, AS 6, AS 9 and so on. तो हमने यहाँ देख लिए हैं दी फर्स्ट लाइन दी बोल्ड वन, वो आप थोड़ा सा एक बार दो बार देखोगे तो यू विल बी एबल टू रिकॉल इन एग्जाम. सो इंडिया एस वर्सेस एएस हमने देखा. इंडिया एस इज IFRS converged, applies to listed companies and large unlisted companies. India accounting standards is principle based and has more extensive recognition measurements, disclosure requirements. Example, fair value measurement, impairment testing under India accounting standard 36. Older Indian, the accounting standard are older Indian GAAP rules. Then PYQs जो आए हैं इससे, which accounting standard deals with the valuation of inventories. AS2 valuation of inventories. ठीक है, valuation of inventories. AS2 हमने देखा जो आया हुआ है ये भी previously. AS1 we have already discussed कि आया हुआ है 23 में. Then years 3 relates to which of the following? Cash flow statement, contingencies, depreciation या investment. So cash flow statement. Which accounting standard prescribes treatment of prior period items and changes in accounting policies? तो AS5 net profit or loss for period, prior period items and changes in accounting policies. Which accounting standard covers accounting for taxes on income? AS22. Which accounting standard governs provision, contingent liabilities and contingent assets? AS29. Then few more MCQs and then we'll move on to our expected questions जो और हैं, that is our flashcards which you can use for a revision as well. So this PDF will be available on the Telegram EDUASTRA. You can download it from there and revise at the time of exam. So which AS prescribe measurement of inventories? हमने अभी भी देखा AS2. Which AS deals with cash flow statement? AS3. Which accounting standard inventories are carried at lower of cost and NRV, net realizable value? Which accounting standard deals with depreciation accounting? हमने बात की AS6 very important आया हुआ है. ठीक है, government grants are covered by which AS? 12. Prior period items are covered in which accounting standard? So 5. Then which accounting standard requires disclosure of accounting policies? Accounting standard 1, ये भी आया हुआ है. Then current tax and deferred tax accounting is in which accounting standard? 22. Which accounting standard deals with investment classification and disclosure? 13. Provision should be recognized when? So answer is B, present obligation, probable and measurable. हमने AS 29 में देखा. Then which AS distinguishes adjusting and non-adjusting events after balance sheet date? AS4. So you can see किस तरीके से questions can be formed and are actually formed, क्योंकि इसमें previous year के भी हैं. So revenue recognition, sales of goods, guidance as an AS 9. Which AS covers accounting for construction contracts? AS 7. Which accounting standard deals with foreign exchange translations? 11. Accounting for amalgamation is covered under 14. Which AS requires disclosure of accounting policy on depreciation method? So AS1 and AS6. AS1 requires disclosure, AS6 covers depreciation. Then India accounting standards are converged with which set of standards? So हमने देखा multiple times IFRS. What is the full form? ये भी हमने देखा था. Tell me what is the full form. Which accounting standard covers intangible assets? 26. Which accounting standard deals with the impairment of assets? 28. 28 is about impairment of assets. Which accounting standard covers net profit for the period prior period items and change in accounting policies? So accounting standard 5. Then let's talk about flashcard questions or expected questions. These can also come. So we'll do this quick revision. At the same time, you can use this very efficiently at the time of revision. Okay, have a look 3-4 days before the exam, and this thing is going to be very helpful for you. AS accounting standard rule कौन बनाया? ICAI rule to ensure uniform financial reporting in the country. What is IND accounting standard? So IFRS converge. अभी last question भी देखा. India accounting notified by Ministry of Corporate Affairs. ठीक है. Then AS1 जो हमने अभी कई बार देख लिया, डिस्क्लोजर ऑफ अकाउंटिंग पॉलिसीज, डिस्क्लोज सिग्निफिकेंट पॉलिसीज. AS2 वैल्यूएशन ऑफ इन्वेंट्रीज, लोअर ऑफ cost and net realizable value. AS3 cash flow statement, classify cash flows into operating investment, investing, financing. AS4 contingencies and event after balance sheet date, adjust, disclose accordingly. AS5 prior period items and changes in accounting policies, show separately. AS6 depreciation accounting, systematic allocation and disclosure. AS7 construction contracts, percentage completion versus completed contract. Then AS9 revenue recognition when probable and measurable. Then PPE is cost subsequent expenditure and derecognition. This is AS10. AS11 foreign exchange के बारे में जो है वो है AS11. Translate monetary items at closing rate. AS12 government grants. Recognize when reasonable assurance exists. AS13 investment classification and valuation. AS14 amalgamations, purchase versus pooling and goodwill treatment. Then AS22 taxes on income minus current and deferred tax accounting. AS26 intangible assets, recognition and amortization. AS28 impairment of assets, write down when recoverable, less than carrying. AS29 provision and contingent liabilities, recognize only probable and measurable provision. Important, हमने देखा था. Cost formula for inventories under AS2. FIFO or weighted average, LIFO normally not used under AS2. First in first out, last in first out. ठीक है. FIFO and LIFO. Cash equivalents AS3. Short term highly liquid investment with original maturity less than or equal to 3 months. Adjusting events AS4. Events providing evidence of condition existing at balance sheet date. Adjust financial statement. Non-adjusting events AS4 events indicative of conditions under balance sheet date, disclose if material. Then depreciation disclosure AS6, methods, rate, gross carrying amount, accumulated depreciation to be disclosed. Recognition of government grants AS12, recognize when reasonable assurance that will be received and conditions complied. When to recognize provision AS29, present obligation from past event, probable outflow, reliable estimate possible. India accounting standard primary source alignment. So IFRS converged. India AS numbers mirror IFRS numbering with some carve outs. Then AS versus India AS. Main difference. So AS rule based Indian GAAP. India AS is principle based IFRS converged standards. हैं क्यों? दोनों का पर्पस सेम ही है. फाइनेंशियल जो भी चीज़ें हैं कंट्री में वो सब अलाइंड हो उस चीज़ के लिए. कुछ सेट ऑफ प्रिंसिपल्स. So disclosure versus recognition. Disclosure show in notes, recognition record in financial statement. Then again about AS. So AS1 is also important. उसका आया हुआ है AS2, 3, 6, 9, 22, 29. These are the most important ones, but still हमने वैसे ही कुछ छोड़े हैं उसमें, तो जितने दिए हैं वो तो you should do. So that's it in this. You will find this PDF on the Telegram. If you want the link, do let me know. I'll provide you with the link. If you want any other resource, do let me know. I'll provide you with the right resource. So that's it. All the best and thank you.